The reason I wanted to focus on this book is because a lot of what you talk about is right here in D.C., Howard University, and its historic School of Medicine. But this tells the story of your great-grandfather.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about why you wanted to put this book and this history lesson even for your own family together.
Sure. So I did not start the research planning to write a book. It's the height of COVID, early 2020. At the time, I was still reporting on television in Atlanta, and I'd come off the 11 o'clock show one night. Just really feeling down. And after the 11 o'clock show, I went to the living room and I was like, how did they get through this 100 years ago? And I remembered that my great-grandfather lived during this time. I knew he was a physician, but I had part of his name, and I go to Howard University's archives, Moreland Spingarn archives online, and I just searched for him. And the Mellon Foundation had just issued a grant that helped them digitize some more assets, and one of the new assets was the morgue yearbook, the medical school yearbook from 1925, and my great-grandfather was in it. And that's when I saw his young face for the first time. I learned about his war service. He was born in 1893, Jamaica, and he lands here in D.C. during Red Summer. And he starts pre-med studies at Howard, comes out of pre-med the week of the Tulsa Race Massacre, when one of the first casualties is a black physician, finishes in 25, goes to Harlem when they're trying to integrate the hospitals, and then leaves for Scotland to specialize and runs a hospital system in Jamaica until he dies. And so he's this narrative through line, but really the key to this was this Mellon grant in Howard University opening up the archives and allowing me to discover an ancestor whose story could carry us through this century of medical history.
The Price of Exclusion is such a powerful title. What is the price we are paying now for the exclusion that black medical students faced all the way back when your great-grandfather was going through Howard?
We've lost generations of physicians. There are lots of topics in the book that speak to the distrust, but also we're facing a fresh assault through policy today. All of the lawsuits that claim that medical schools are being racially discriminatory for offering scholarships to black medical students. If you take the racial wealth gap into consideration, if you take the dismantling of the scholarship funds, and if you look at the big beautiful bill that will put a cap on the amount of money that students can borrow to go to medical school, and you mix all of that in the same cup and you assign that to Black America, then you're effectively cutting off our access to medical education and the doctors that we'll need for the century to come. The American Medical Association had issued a series of apologies, not just one in 07, 08, but one during COVID that acknowledged the shortage of black physicians that we had. This was before we had access to the COVID vaccine, and they were talking about trust in everything we were doing to fight this pandemic. So they acknowledged that the group of people who were disproportionately impacted or dying, at twice the rate than our white counterparts, had an issue with trusting systems, and we needed doctors that look like us. And I think it's so important, especially in this day and age, that we move to narrate our histories and preserve them in books and in our forms of journalism.
Our thanks to Jummy and Nicole for that conversation. Still ahead for us on this News for Midday, one of the greatest aviation mysteries of all time, now solved.